like talk just like sex. So then we start running. Think about sex. I know it's like a very taboo subject, but like think about something fast. A one night stand.
How's a water buffalo?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Old School Matt here, back with another Water Buffalo Buff Talk. Today we're joined by our guest, our co-host, Levi Ruiz. We're back with another one. This is going to be episode number 2. We hope you guys enjoyed the pilot episode of our Buff Talk podcast that we're starting to do in 2021. We're hanging out here today, and we decided why not do a podcast today? Why not get together and talk about some things? So without further ado, I'll let Levi take us off. So what's up, Levi?
Chilling. I don't think we planned on talking besides much. I think we brought up, what was it? Somebody said something like the good things in life come slow. So we decided to talk like briefly on
I come fast.
On instant gratification, and how as you grow up and mature and you self-reflect on your life, you realize, the best things in life take a long time to form. Like the best.
That's true. We were out and about doing some things before, and we were kind of chatting up a little bit. And Levi brought up that point to me, and I was too focused on the music we were listening to. But it's a great time to talk about it. I know none other than right now. How do you like to practice that in life? Because obviously it's a lot easier said than done, right? Like it's a lot easier to say that you're not going to do the easy thing, or say you're not going to give in to temptation. But when that temptation comes, I would say 9 times out of 10, 9 out of 10 people are going to do that thing.
Yeah, I think I heard somebody say, I can't remember if this was from a movie, story, book, or show I had seen, but somebody said, like, there's doing what's right and what's easy. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you know it, comment below, but I'll just have it in my memory from something I saw recently, and that got me just into, that side train of thinking. You don't even watch what you're watching anymore, you just, like, start thinking. Yeah. And I was just like, that is so true. Even, like, when it comes to money. Like, everyone's looking for fast money. How can I get $4,000 in one day? The best, most successful businesses, they were just like, I heard what you said. The best businesses have been made over like time. They start with like what we mentioned before in our last podcast. Everything that makes passive income, Jeff Bezos or any other entrepreneur that starts their own thing, front end risk, taking, whether it's taking out a loan, taking a small, my family gave me a small loan of $1 million. No, just kidding. Yeah. And it starts with a small risk up front, and then over time building and building. Think about just those family run AC companies. That's the first thing that came to mind. I don't know why. You have one person who knows how to do ACs. They start working, gaining profit, and you charge headroom for your labor and stuff like that. You start doing so well, you want somebody to join you. You start buying trucks and getting bigger, so now you can pay for advertising. Now you're spending a little bit of money, your profit goes down a little bit. Now you're bigger because of the advertising. You make more money, you reinvest it in itself, and now you're a bigger AC company. And eventually, if you were the first person to start off, you have the choice to make that active income, keep working, and you are one of the people you pay, so technically you pay yourself, so it's not an extra person you have to pay. Or you take a step aside, and because you started the business and you own it and you have your own LLC and whatnot, you take like 15-20% of revenue, and now you have passive income going, and that started from just hard work at the beginning, and now it's even easier. The active income jobs, like you go into work, you clock in, you work, you clock out, you get paid for that. That time, it's not putting a shitload of work and barely getting paid, and then at the end getting paid for no work. It's just constant stream of work and pay. Yeah,
it's like working towards, it's kind of like, I guess, kind of like the dynamic that comes between like a capitalistic and more like a socialistic government in a way. Like people that work for, I'm not comparing jobs to any of that, but it's kind of like the payoff is like you either slowly pay in towards something and slowly get fed out of it all the time, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Like that would be a job.
Mm-hmm.
or you pay a lot of it right away, or as much as you can right away, and you reap the benefits later, sort of thing.
Yeah. Even money itself.
Mm-hmm.
Or were you done with that thought?
No, that was it. That was all I was trying to
Yeah.
say.
No. I was even money
Don't
itself.
let it happen
If
again.
you if you get a lump sum of money from something, whether it be, oh, I don't even want to go through examples because I'd say something stupid. But let's say you have a lump sum of money from anything, and even that in of itself, money invested can have its own income. Like let's say you put it in a Vanguard mutual fund for I shouldn't even said Vanguard, any mutual or index fund. You can have it once it makes money, like in stocks. You can have it reinvest in itself, and as it gets bigger, it's growing on its own. Or once it gets to a point, let's say it's, I don't know, random number that could sustain you. That's $10 million, and on average it makes you a return of 10% a year. 10% of $10 million is $1 million. So you have $10 million in a stock account. You literally have it put, give you $1 million a year instead of reinvesting itself. Now your money's making you money, but it took that to make that $10 million first. Nothing good in life comes free, comes fast, and that's just money. We've gone that's money. Like, and I keep saying comes fast. I see you smile, you little pervert. No, I'm just kidding. And think about like relationships, whether it be significant other, whether it be your friends and stuff like that.
Well, it's a little harder when you start involving other people because you can take your time. We just touch feet.
I didn't notice that, but yeah.
Oh God, you can take your time and put your time into. That's the thing I wanted to differentiate though, because you are right to an extent, but you can put a lot of time into something and still get nothing out of it. The difference between money and goals and aspirations and learning skills is that you will 99% of the time, probably I would even go as far as say 100% of the time, get exactly what you put in, you'll get out. And that's being truth and honest. Obviously, there's variables that, an economic recession or something crazy that can go into play, but it's a little bit more of a sure thing, in my opinion, than with people or with relationships specifically, because this is kind of like digressing from the main point, but it kind of goes hand in hand too. When you put a lot of time into somebody, you're not sure what that person, and this is kind of going with relationships, you're not really sure what that person is going to be able to return to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that time, like things that take time, obviously are the best things in life. But the most important thing to do when you're taking your time on something that has to do with like your goals and stuff is to put, in my opinion, more of your effort into that than kind of like other people. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, no, I think that's in everybody's life. There's something different that they could be putting effort in, and that was honestly like our last talk, our priorities and stuff like that. And like right now, in your spot, you definitely see your priorities and effort going into one thing. Mine's different, and the person who's watching this right now has their duties to figure out what requires their effort the most and what they benefit from more. But I even, what I was talking about before with like relation, I was talking about think about like just like sex. Think about sex. I know it's like a very taboo subject, but like think about something fast. A one night stand, or illegal prostitution or things like that. It's people think, oh my gosh, it's fun, it's fast, you get over with, dump. It's fast, just like fast money, and it's what we started on. It's instantly gratifying. It's good in the wait, hold on. And then think about a relationship. It's something that is built over time. It's slow, and all this the single people could make. And this is my opinion on this part of the subject. People could disagree. Oh, I'm never getting married. I'm never settling down. But in my opinion, when you build something with someone over time, like even on the matter of sex or the entire relationship, if it's the right person, not everybody finds the right person that they've been investing in. I think that is something way more earned, and when you look back in your life, it means more to you, and it's so much better than like illegal prostitution, one night stands, fast, instant gratification things. Something built over time is always better.
100%, but you have to be investing in the right person. Obviously.
Oh,
and that's the thing. Yeah. Like, how do you know if it's the right person? So I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. This is going to be an example. This has nothing to do with truth or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it logically, if I'm gonna take a girl out on a date, right? I'm gonna take her out on probably, I would say, hopefully 2 to 3 days before we have any sexual relations. If I think I'm gonna take her seriously,
2 to 3. No, I'm just kidding. I wanted to say that 2 to 3 times.
or whatever. I don't know. People are different. 2 to 3, whatever, 4 or 5.
I was just giving you shit. Yeah,
more or less.
Keep going.
Anyways, so think about the money and the time you spent. So the time that you guys started talking until the time that you guys have sex, right? So it would be what, 3 or 4 dates? Let's just say 4 dates to be conservative and to be, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's fast or slow. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Every person who watches this has a different timeline for when they think they should have. But keep going with your.
I think
your story.
4 is fair, right?
Sure. I don't have an opinion.
Is 4 fair? I don't know. I want to know. Is 4 fair?
I think every relationship is different because
okay.
it could be, what if it's a friend that is part of the gender that you're attracted to, and you've known them for a really, really long time, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, this person's been there forever, and you go on one day, but you've known them for like 3 years. It could be something special.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But
I mean, that was just one example of the many.
Let's just say new person.
New,
completely new. You've never spoken to them a day in your life before, and you guys start talking, and the first time you guys talk is like, I'm digressing because I like to have conversation, but
yeah, no, I get it.
All right, let's just say 4, right? 4 dates.
Just move on with it. Yeah, keep
4
going.
dates.
Push it forward.
I'm about to push it forward. So 4 dates. Think about from the minute let's just say you found them on Tinder or something like that. So you find them on Tinder.
Complete stranger.
You spend
complete stranger.
You spend 2 hours talking to them on Tinder before you get their phone number.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours of your time. Another 6 hours before you guys go on that first date. You spend 3 hours on that first date. The second date, you spend another 3 hours. And then the second time you guys hang out, you guys went to go dinner, and that cost you $62. Go out again. You guys go. Let's say you guys go to the movies this time. That costs you $32.
Okay.
And that's compounding the time that you guys talking.
Time and money together.
Time and money.
Go to our
together.
first podcast. No, it's good.
4th date. She's at your house. You guys do it. Right?
Okay.
How much time has gone from then to then? Money from then to then. For you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how much time has gone by that you've invested? And let's just say after that 4th date, it's over. It's done. Compared to the flip side of things, which you were talking about earlier, you go out and you meet somebody one time, or it's, I won't say it, but you know what I'm talking about. You go and you pay a fare and you have your time. Which one is more worth it to you? I'm not saying I would ever partake in any of those activities, or I do those type of things.
There's situation and hypothetical. I get that. And what I would say to that is there are 2 different kinds of sexual relations, and I think even that third
is it really though?
It really is. If you're covering, like, blanket cover just straight up just intercourse, that could be the same. Honestly, technically, the first one is less time and energy because you meet them one night and it's a one night stand, blah blah blah. Yeah, it has less time to intercourse, but what I'm trying to say is, for me, that's different, because when you have that one night stand, that is just like pure lust. There's no true relationship connection.
What about the girl before? I mean,
so yeah, well, that's what I'm moving on to. That is something that I would think people are trying to do to form something a little bit more serious in that first thing. And let's say you waited, that's one of your first relationships, you're new to everything, you're taking things slow out of safety. And let's say someone on their conservative end, if you were watching, says 6 months to a year. And this is like when you're really, really young, when you haven't had any experience, stuff like that. So the time comes from safety. When you know someone for a really long time and you just love them so much, and you plan on marrying them soon, or not, you love them with the bottom of your heart. That, I think, is different. That's like what people call it making love. It's like it's a deeper emotional connection connected to sex. I think sex is related to your connection with people, and I think it changes along all 3 of those aspects we just talked about. The one night, the time and money spent to try and get something going. I think that's a start, and then I think there's that end game connection that you just care about something.
Well, this is what I was gonna talk about. It's important then to see both sides, and I'm not saying to go hire a prostitute or go out and have a one night stand.
Yeah.
But if you had to choose one or the other, let's just say you had to choose one or the other, wasting your time or being done in a day, which one would you choose? Sorry, Kate. No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, no. He said kiss my girlfriend. It's you're talking about different. Uh,
Can I eat it or you gonna eat it?
Well, we're in the middle.
sorry,
We're in the
we have
middle.
a family coming and asking.
You gonna eat it?
Yeah, but we're in the middle of recording.
You gonna eat it or
No, you can have it. You,
And sorry, technical difficulties. And hey, you just got it. We'll go back in there. So bottom line, here's what I'd say to your to your question. If you're making me compare that and it just well, I don't know. I stand by what I said because I in my mind differentiate it. That is what makes my answer. So I would rather have a little bit more time and money and develop something serious and not just waste. Because to me, if it's just one night and then it's that thing, to me that whole thing's a waste. To you, it's like if you're like, oh, the end game is having sex, then you're like, oh, I
no,
won.
That's
Oh yeah, I know
that's
that's not. You're saying hypothetically, but to me, it's the emotional connection.
Well, I'm saying that if that emotional connection is not like.
Oh, if in the end they both leave.
Yeah,
You never know that though because no one ever knows unless somebody tells you in the meantime. So then but or tells you before you even start. But no one knows whether that person is the person you end up with for the rest of your life or they leave sometime soon. That's the risk.
That's the key. That's the key that I was going to say.
The risk of having
The
a relationship.
key is making sure that you pick the right person if you're going to invest your time and money.
Exactly.
And not just, this is why I just got out of a relationship and I don't like the term. I know you told me you should date around.
I never said that.
Yeah, I think you told me. No, you told me I should be single for a little while.
I said you should find your true independence.
Yeah.
And be happy with your life and get your own path going. And once you have your own path ready to go, like we said in our last podcast, find someone that joins it. That's it. That's all I said.
I don't think that I'll ever have to worry about finding my own path in that way, but I think people have told me you should date around. That's why I'm not against dating around, but I'd rather be the hunter that goes out and watches deer walk every day for 6 months until I find the buck.
Yeah.
Than take my first shot at the doe that I see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that was the whole lesson to this story was that they're both a waste of time in my opinion. If you know for sure that there's no chance you guys have something, and you can tell. I feel like you can, when you're older, you can kind of tell if someone's going to be worth your time or not.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously people are complicated, and like this all goes back to theory, and every individual is differently or whatever. But I think that the most important thing that's gone on in my life has being a person who is able to scope out his shot before he takes a shot, not only with women but with anything else in life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me,
well, you have a girlfriend for a long time.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a relationship podcast or what? It's gonna be a dope title. Sex,
yes, sex and instant gratification and prostitutes. No, just kidding. Relationships are huge, and sex is a huge part of what is instantly gratifying and what is built over time. It's all comes down to what we're talking about, instant gratification, and trying to stay away from it. Because think about, all right. So the risk that remember we're talking about everything good comes with that risk at the front end. That is what I was about to say. But when it comes to relationships, even because you don't know someone's going to leave in 2 years, 3 years, 8 years, or a couple of months, or a week or two.
But it's different.
No, well, hold on. It's like
it's very different because
the risk is knowing who's right for you, because there's you have your own checklist of things. They support what you do. They live close to you. Age, emotional maturity. There's a giant checklist, and the more detailed you get, obviously, the less people will fit that with any demographic. And when there's many people that would check your checklist, I believe, like yours, mine, and I think when you, how do I explain this? There's not one soulmate out there for every person. There's many people that you would love to spend the rest of your life with. It's just some are younger than you, some are older than you, some are don't live close to you, some live in different countries, some speak different languages. If you met every single person in this entire world that you'd love to spend the rest of your life with, you couldn't choose. You would probably get depressed because you couldn't choose one person. And some people have had that. But what I'm saying is you have to risk putting that time and money into that person to see who their their true self is. We all have walls. Would you agree with me on that? We all have walls, and ogres have layers. Like same thing, you know. We have to peel back. What? Well, we all have emotional layers that we peel back when we know somebody more and more and more. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
You have to find someone who checks off all the checks on your list, and then peel back their layers to see if they would truly match with you for the rest of your life. That takes a risk of time and money. And people put 4 years, 8 years into it and throw it all away. And some people don't put more than 2 months into that.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but what if I were to take these two things? So let's say, let's stick with the subject of the podcast. Good things come with time, right?
Yeah.
Good things come with time. So if I were to take 6 months and code every single day, and I watched Coding Academy, all this, as much as everything, my day-to-day was 90% coding.
Yeah.
Everything else, and I wanted to learn how to code. Right? I did that for 6 months. At the end of those 6 months, I'll probably know how to code decently, right?
Yeah.
If you're you're decently smart with computers, let's just say you have a basic understanding of computers, after 6 months, if you code every day, like you go to the gym every day, in 6 months...
Yeah, if you put like a goal of mastery amount of hours of coding, you will increase in 6.
If I put in every single day towards a female, and even if she's the right one, 6 months later, coding, the only thing that would change the thing from coding is if all of a sudden a programming language came out that changed everything, and everything I learned about coding was false, right? So what are the chances of that happening? Probably 1 in a trillion in 6 months. Maybe in 10 years, but in 6 months. And even then, what I learned will not be obsolete.
Well, it depends on how hard you're trying to increase that relationship to a fulfilling level.
Well, what I'm saying is, even if it's the right person, what if in 6 months she gets a call from her ex, or she gets another job, or she got to move here? There's so many more variables when it comes to an individual. Yeah. That's why I feel like when you put time into a relationship, that you have to make sure they are 100% the person no matter what. If not, you have to emotionally detach yourself from that, because if you don't, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get, waste your time, money.
I think I get what you're circling around to. And finish up, and I'll get my response to that. Sorry.
No, that was it.
And I think I agree with you, because you can learn, let's say weightlifting, you spend the next 1 year, 365 days, you plan your rest days, you plan your diets, you plan your meals. You most likely, unless you are genetically unable to grow,
even if you are genetically unable to grow, like even if you have the worst genetics in the world, if you were to start on January 1st and work out twice a day, 45 minutes of cardio in the morning, weights at night, take a 3-hour nap during the day, sleep 8 hours, eat 6 meals clean every single day.
Straight up lab experiment.
For 365 days. You will come out of those 365 days looking incredibly, insanely different. I don't care how bad your genetics are, the change in your body will change.
For sure. And then, I mean, I agree with that, and even mentally and stuff like that. But aside from the digression, I agree with that, but when it comes to anything in this world, the most complicated thing in the entire world, I think right now, is people. Yeah. Because like when it comes to gym and our bodies are muscles, this is sub person, which is muscles. It comes to coding, you want to learn. It comes to selling cars, whatever it may be. You put playing guitar, like learning something. When you put hours in, mastery comes out of it. When you do something for 10,000 hours, and you achieve, was it Shikari or whatever? I forget what the word for mastering something is, but and I get what you're saying. You could put that same amount of time of mastering something that will be 100% or 99.999 whatever percent reaping benefits towards you, or you could put that towards a person, and you're playing the game of risk. There's like they could leave any. I get what you're saying. However, it all comes back down to our first podcast. Actually, what if every one of our podcasts come back down to the first one? It comes back. We're building every single episode. No, but still, it comes back down to time and money priorities. In the end of your life, you have to make a goal of where you want to be in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, because and you have to make short-term goals to go to those long-term goals. Because if you don't care about, you can die single, alone, no kids, you really don't care if you have someone significant in your life, then what's the point of putting all that time and money into another person if you don't care? But for me, let's say I want kids, I want my legacy And I also don't just want kids, like, and have my significant other that birthed them off with another person living their own life, and I'm swapping custody. I want a.
How do you know that's not going to happen?
I don't. That's why I put so much time and effort into finding the right person, and that's why, like, you remember, you're like, oh, you guys talked for a year. Yeah, I made sure that this person had every checklist, and they were amazing, and they support my goals.
This is nothing towards Kate, and I'm not talking about
yeah,
Kate
exactly.
at all.
But I'm thinking
but listen, even then, you can give them 5 years, and they could act like the most normal person in the world. I'm not talking about his. He's special.
But
he's
you know, we talked about that. Actually, me and her talked about that. In 5, 10, 15 years, you could be a different person than you once were when each other. 100%. But however, because I prioritize,
I was in your spot 6-7 months ago. I thought the same way, but I think that his relationship was different because I'm looking at it from the outside in.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see, from what I see, is like from what he tells me, he cries every day. No,
but seriously, everybody's different. You, me, viewer. When it comes down to what you prioritize, like I want my kids running around, and me and the person and my significant other, hopefully, the person I'm dating now, we're child rearing them together, and we're a huge happy family, and that takes the risk, that requires the risk of putting time and effort and money into something that one day could possibly, like literally tomorrow, 24 hours from now, could be gone.
Could be gone right now.
But think about everything else in your life. Think about everything else in your life. You could code and you could work out and you could do all the things, learn guitar, but everything that 100% will be there. And the next day, when you started that plan on that 365-day mastery method, day 2, you could die.
Yeah, but then we're getting into like
it's statistics. It's all statistics.
But there's way worse statistics involving yourself with an individual 100% than
exactly. But I'll challenge that with.
You have nothing. I win this argument.
No. Wait, it's not an argument. It's not an argument. I'm saying this is a perspective for the viewer. In your perspective, but for me, in my priority, no. Let me finish this. In my priority, anything you could do, playing guitar, playing and coding, making apps, doing a method, to me, like nothing will fulfill me more than having that family legacy and an amazing family to rear up.
For sure.
And rather than any of this career bullshit, because at the end of the day, I always have my family, and I think I'll always put that in priority. Besides,
like, I don't want people to think I'm out here like nothing matters other than my success and my money. I'm probably one of the most family-oriented people in my whole life. What I'm saying is that when you think about it logically, you think about it on a scale of like, let's look at it as an alien looking down. It has no emotions, no feelings, nothing.
Just say objectively. That's all you have to say.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. We're looking at it objectively.
Objectively. If you look at it objectively, you look at the 6 months with a person, 6 months with a task. 9 out of 10 people would choose the person. And why? That honestly goes down to instant gratification too. Because as much as you're saying you want it to be long term, what are most people getting involved with right away?
No, I don't think that's instant gratification. I think that comes with what we value.
You don't think that people that get into a relationship 9 times out of 10 at first are doing it because they want to?
No, I disagree because I think
I don't know.
Most relationships, whether it be our relationship, our family relationships, our significant other relationships,
personal things into it, but think about your relationships in the past. Mm-hmm. I think about mine. For the most part, when you first started a relationship, it was because of why? It's
because I like the person.
No, I'm not talking about dating. I'm not talking about dating. I'm talking about
a relationship, just being a friend with somebody, or just you wanted to start some kind of relationship.
Yes,
that's because.
Why did you first start your relationship? I'm not gonna say don't say it out loud on camera, but what was the reason that she caught your attention, or think about people watching this? What is my last relationship? The reason why we got together in the first place was.
Oh no! You are talking about dating, your relationship. I was thinking about coworkers, friends that are guys, friends that are girls, all the people that I've actually became friends with, relationships and stuff like those.
About boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay, so that's significant other relationships.
Yeah.
That is totally different because every person I've wanted to create a relationship in general with is because I just got along. Like we get along. Now we have a relationship. Me and Ali, me and all the boys or males and females at Calypso Water Park before my fire rescue job, we would have social gatherings all the time. I picked the people I wanted to hang out with and form relationships with them because we just got along.
And that's the nuance, or I guess nuance or whatever.
But it's different. We're talking about significant others. Keep your point up. I want to hear what you have to say when it comes to a significant other.
9 times out of 10, when you get involved with somebody, you're not dating, just purely getting involved with them, whether that be you guys made out at a bar or you guys went out on a date or whatever. What is the main reason you guys went out? You wanted to marry this girl? You can't tell me that.
No,
9 times out of 10, you cannot tell me.
The main reason is you're testing for something that is good enough.
Are we really testing? Like, were you really testing the first time? I'm not going to say Kate, or whatever. Like, think about it. You in total, because you've dated other people too. The first time you went out with them, the first time you met them, within the first 2 weeks, you said, I'm going to marry this girl? I don't think so. What was the first thing on your mind in the next 2 weeks?
I think differently than a lot of people. I have a mental checklist. I have a mental checklist of
I said 9 10s out of 10. But let's think about someone like Ali.
Okay.
Our boy Ali. What do you, if he's, let's just say he meets the love of
Ali
his
is just somebody close with us. We're not picking on him for a certain reason. For you guys who are watching, we're just picking him because he's one of our
okay,
close
let's
boys.
pick Lawrence, for example. Whoever, anybody, Billy Bob. You watch him. You go out with somebody on a date. What is the first thing that comes to your mind after you guys have hung out that night?
That depends on the person. That's what I'm saying. We can't hypothetical in somebody else's brain. I'm saying we can only do that for you and me. And for me, that's, do they meet the checklist? Is this somebody serious?
Seriously,
is this somebody?
Every single girl you met.
Every single girl I met. I literally.
I think he's lying. He's lying.
No, it literally. If somebody says like for me, I'm a very religious person. I love God. If somebody says to me, I don't believe in God. People that believe the Bible is stupid. It's made up. Blah blah. And you guys can think that too. And we're all good. We could still be the best of friends. I have best friends that aren't religious. But someone who is my wife, I've had some people that I was talking to at the time, and they said that, and I was just like, it was part of my getting to know them more, and I was just like, wow, I guess that just they don't fit on my checklist.
Yeah,
could it still work out? I think if you're mature enough, you could have that, but I don't think you could. For me, I can't fulfill my relationship to the highest extent, which isn't the worst thing in the world. 95, 90, 92 out of 100. It's what you want, but because I knew I had the options, I'm going to pick the woman that matches my checklist. That instantly, it was just like, no longer candidate.
And now, when I'm like playing, I'm playing devil's advocate because all these
for sure. We're playing for the conversation.
All these things I'm saying, I don't do.
Yeah.
Like I told Levi, I'm somebody who I'll make sure I don't take the shot. I'll wait for the big bucks.
Real quick, just to back up off this conversation, we'll hop right in. I think it's very smart and it's very intuitive to play devil's advocate in conversations, because if you don't play it, this is a lesson. If you don't play devil's advocate with yourself, I don't care if you're just buying something expensive. The devil's advocate is literally like, don't just look at the 5-star reviews, look at the 1-star reviews. Yeah. Exactly. And a 2-star or 1 star, yeah, it's better to look at 2-star.
And let's show. This is a relationship podcast now. It turned into a little bit of money.
Hey, we could circle it back. I mean, yeah, I want money in the relationships, but
play devil's advocate with the girl you're with too. Do you do that too?
100%. I always do that. I'm like,
is that something do you look at the past as a prediction of the future?
Yeah, and I think exactly, because part of us determining our relationship in the future is pattern recognition. If you find a person, male or female, let's do me, so that nobody I know gets offended. If Levi,
use me as an example.
Yeah, actually no. Let's do hypothetical.
Use me.
Give me a name. Give me a name.
Matt Wynn. Use me as an example.
No. All right, him. I don't even know this about him. However, let's say he cheats in every single relationship, and you find, I know, right? That's what I was gonna use. Let's use Jeremy. I don't know. Jeremy's just a name I thought of. Jeremiah. I don't know what. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. So we use Jeremiah the bullfrog. Let's say I can bullshit all the fuck I want. Let's say Jeremiah the bullfrog cheats on all of his bullfrog girlfriends every single time he dates somebody. If you meet this person and then through the grapevine you hear, hey, oh, you're talking to Jeremiah, dude, that bullfrog cheats on every single one of his girlfriends. Pattern recognition. What would you think? Damn, he's gonna cheat on you. Exactly. There's 100%.
Podcast topic next time or whenever. Can people really change them? I'm not gonna get into it now.
That's no. Really you can. It's good to talk about, but bottom line, it comes back to every person's different. You could have people that never will, and you could have people that turn their life around. You hear stories of both all the time. There's really it just comes down to
down to their core. I believe that people never change.
Yeah,
deep down to their core, they can play a facade.
My friend, are tapping into a subject of nature versus nurture that has been a controversial subject for like
I'm telling you
psychological
right now, in
eternity.
100,000 years from now, when I'm known as the greatest person ever into the fitness industry, just kidding. People don't change; they just put on a mask.
As lovely of a quote as that is, you are diving into nature versus nurture.
People who people who change, they come back to, let's just say good, bad, bad, good, bad, good. Someone who's been good, been bad, and been good again has always been good at heart. Someone who's been bad, changed to be good, goes back to being bad, has always been bad at heart.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I still think, and I'm one of those people with you're I said again, you're diving into nature versus nurture, one of the biggest controversial
I'm about to break it
topics.
People don't change.
Yeah, no, and I respect that opinion. I firmly believe it is a combination of your nature, your genetics, your predetermined psychological mind,
I'll change this.
and the things that happen to you and your environment and things like that. Because you could have someone so steadfast and broad-shouldered that no matter what they go through, they what is it? Why'd you check one of the videos? No, we're having vibrations, but you can have someone so steadfast and broad-shouldered that they go through the worst stuff in their entire life, and I can think of some really bad stuff. I've heard stories, and they just don't change. They stay a great person. They believe that people will be, top tier, and at the bottom of the heart, they'll trust people, even though people have been, mistrusting to them, or they've mistrusted others. And then you have other people that just fall by the wayside and fall through the cracks. They're great people, and because bad stuff constantly happens to them, they fall through the cracks. I think there's both of every case, and I can't agree with you when you say 100% one side it's nature, nurture has nothing, environment has nothing. It's all predetermined. If you're good, you're good. If you're evil, you're evil.
Well,
I can't agree with that.
If we go into an experimental mode, I like to think everything
Oh yeah, just talking about the mic. I got levels.
No,
Yeah, bro.
I think if you take everything, I like to look at things on what they are. If you were to take people, and we'll close out this part, and then we'll start to finish out the podcast. But if you take people from who they are as a child or as whatever they were raised as, teenager, person who's developed, right, for the most part, if you take them and you put them back into situations and scenarios that got them into where they were, they're always in some way revert back to their nature. That's just my opinion.
I disagree.
That's just my opinion.
Think about an emergency medical scene. I think the person, and I think maybe you might have meant something different, so I'm taking this. But I'm still playing. I'm playing devil's advocate for you now.
Okay, let's just take this example.
All right,
like the celebrities that go and they were born in the hood, and they come out of the hood, and now they're amazing people.
Yeah,
they were never bad people to begin with. They might have.
Well, wait, but are you insinuating? Are you saying that other people in the hood that didn't make it out aren't good at either?
No, I'm just saying that. That's another.
What if every single person in the entire city was good?
I'm thinking of let's just say I don't know, Lil Wayne, for example. I was thinking of the time where he shot himself, and or let's just take Mike Tyson, for example. Mike Tyson went through some crazy times in his life. He was drugs and jail and all this stuff. But if you go back to when he was a kid and the way he was raised by Cus D'Amato, I'm just using Mike Tyson for example. It can be anybody. He was always a good guy until he got involved with the wrong people. Mm-hmm. But now look at Mike Tyson now. Mike Tyson is the same guy he was when he was a younger guy. Yeah. Straight up, forward. He smokes a little bit more weed now, but for the most part, when I hear he's changed back to the person he was, and that's who I think he always was. I use myself as another example. I was a good dude. I went to school, went to college.
And now you suck.
Went through some crazy times, and now I suck again. No. Like, I feel like maybe not as a child, but as who you are as an individual. And nobody can know that other than yourself. If you're a sneaky, sleazy person, you can play a facade all you want, but nobody will. And that's what I'm saying. You will never be able to know because you'll never be able to jump into someone's head. You know what I mean?
I get that, but I still think that people change over. Have
you ever met somebody who's been a really bad person? Like, you think of someone who's you just think of them and you're like, that is a bad person. They made mistake after mistake after mistake.
Well, define bad, because I've met so many people.
Lying, sleazy, gossipy.
Yeah, but then there's truly evil people. Like, do you mean just like selfish? Because no, I've known some evil person. But listen to me, I've known some, and this isn't me just saying this. I'm saying, but for where on the spectrum do you want me to answer? Because there's bad, there's sleazy, there's just selfish people, and there's I'm not trying to get the podcast violent or gore or anything like that, but there's truly, I'm talking Matt, like evil people in this world that want the worst things for the people that come across
And
them.
that's the type of people I'm talking about. That no matter how good they play, they'll always be that.
That's
evil
why I
person.
think it's nature versus nurture.
So you
It's-
think those type of people can change? Because I know somebody in particular, and I know a lot of people for the most part. I'm not taking this as a sample of the entire world. Like you said, obviously there's probably statistical anomalies. That's why I was going to change. 99% of the people don't change. There's like 1% of the population that will change. But I think, in my honest opinion, I think that 99% of the people don't change.
I disagree. I think I'll say this
Because I
bottom
don't
line.
think that I think that the changing part was them just getting out of the bad phase that they were in, or the good phase that they were in,
You think they're just reverting back?
reverting back to who they were
I
originally.
disagree. I think because everyone has. All right, this is bottom line I'm going to say for that's entire digression. Bottom line, and I want to hear what you think about this. Just my chair for this moment. You have your nature and your nurture. You have the person you are, and that at heart and metaphorically, and you have the person, and you have the experience that you're going to go through that will have an effect on you. The person you become are your choices along the way, and I think this, Matt. I think that's why parenting is such an important job.
That's what I was
When
gonna
you're a parent, the first 18 years of your child's life, you literally, like Play-Doh, mold that child.
say. And that's why I don't
And
think
and
people-
and wait, hold on a second. I think, and this is where we might agree actually, where I think we're coming together is we're when you reach a certain age, it gets harder and harder for you to change. When you're a kid and you're still being molded, when you're being a kid and you're still being molded, I think it's easy to change. It's easy for your experiences to affect you. And then as you get older and older and older, 30, 40 years old, 50 years old, 70 and 100 years old, the older you get, I think the less likely you are to change. Would you agree with that?
I agree, but I'm gonna go back to what it was. I think that the majority of people that grew up and got those, and it doesn't even, I could say that if you had bad parents, I'm not saying if you had bad parents, you could be a bad person, because you could have been influenced badly by your parents, but what could have won that over could have been a teacher at school, could have been friends, family, could have been your friends at the time. You know, we all have had a friend who's always hung around us when we were younger because maybe their parents didn't have the best situation at home, or maybe they didn't have parents, and our family took them in, or we, helped them, or maybe the teachers helped them. So it's all about the influences, not really about how you're raised as a kid in terms of your house. That's a big part of it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I know plenty of people that come from broken households that are very, very, that have always grown up as awesome people because they got coaches, friends, families, cousins, aunts, uncles.
Yeah, but why is the household environment is what you consider bad, but the coaches and everything you were listing, that's good. So is their environment good or bad?
I would say their environment's good if they don't let the household affect them. But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. This argument, you're right. This argument will never be won because you'll never know truly in the person's heart. You can put on a shield for a long time, or for the outside, for, like, let's just say I used to be a shitty person. I used to steal. I used to do all this stuff. I used to gossip and blah, blah, blah. And now you see me, I'm a changed man. I'm a guy who's going around with my suit on, but I've always been a sleazebag. And if you uncover me a little bit, I feel like there's always that little bit still
Okay,
left inside.
I can see that. So,
You know what I mean?
but yeah, I get what you're saying, but let me ask you this: if you, that's gonna be like cool, but let me ask you this. But I do
Bring
want to,
this up real quick.
I want to ask you this. Let's say you are a sleazebag. I define how good a person is.
Okay, just think about.
No,
the
wait.
sle-
I
real
want
quick.
to ask you
But
this.
real quick,
All
just
right.
think about the sleaziest person you know. Someone who's always been a dirtbag in your life.
I actually cut a lot of those out, so I can't remember sleazebags since I was.
Just think about them right now. You remember
Uh,
anyone who's ever gossiped about you, done you wrong in many ways? Obviously, we all make mistakes, but someone who's consistent. I can think of like 4 people right now. Someone who's consistently done things against your best interest.
I could kind of think of somebody.
Okay, now think about them right now. Are they still the same person?
That's actually literally. That's funny you said that because I was about to say, without you even asking me that, I was about to say, because I haven't seen them in so long, I would actually, if I was in Vegas and I had to bet my chips somewhere, I would bet that they're not the same person that I was in when I was 16 and they were a few years older.
You don't think so?
I don't think so because I think
Then I could be wrong. Like I say, I could be wrong. In my theory, I think that they were either going through a bad time in their life when they were around you, and before they were really good kids, a good person in their heart, and they were just doing that out of insecurity or something going on, or they're the same shitty person.
so. I think we actually kind of agree almost 100%. But it's what we see, and this is what my question was.
Okay.
What makes a bad person bad or good person good? For me, I think the choices you make at that moment in time is the kind of person you are. And that means in a single day of 24 hours, you could be a good person, make a bad decision. You are a bad person for that. And then you're a good person for the rest of the day. I don't think you're either good or bad, and that doesn't change for the rest of your life. I think through your life, you go good, bad. There's a spectrum. It's a constant, infinite decimal spectrum. That was a little redundant.
I think it's an average. It's an average in your actions.
See, so that's what it comes down to. That's exactly what I was going to ask. So I define it by the choices you make. You define it as an average of all the choices you made in your life. So that's actually what it comes down to. I think we both agree that you have ups and downs and you go through it. I think people constantly change. Bottom line, people constantly change, and you have a good spot. You could fall off the rails a little bit. You could get back on. You would think that that's a good person at heart that fell down and they're still good, and now they reverted back. I say they were a good person. They became a bad person because of the choices they made. Because if you met that person, you met him, you what's it called? Let's say you had experience in your life with them for a week at most or whatever. Then you never saw them again. In your head, they'll stay bad forever because you haven't met them again.
That's the thing. I don't I will never be able to determine if my theory is true or not because I won't.
Because you think they're just having a mask of bad or good.
I won't be able to jump into their heart and see how they actually really are. But in my opinion, if you look into each individual heart and you see how a person truly feels and thinks, so you'll never know. You've been telling me all this stuff, Levi. You're my best friend. I love you. I trust you. I'll never do anything wrong to you. But in your heart, you could think of the most nastiest things about me. You could think about, whatever. I will never know. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. My theory might be right, but we'll never know. Not because we can't. Well, not because we can't test it. Because we won't be able to ask each and every individual person their true feelings. We won't see the inside. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a pointless conversation. Right?
Actually, first of all, this whole podcast is about pointless conversation. No shit. And actually, what you said what was that what you just said? You said you'll never see the inside of the person, right? I think that we disagree because. All right, let me start over. I think we have different perspectives. I think you see the inside of the person every time they make a choice. And I think what you think is you never see the inside of a person ever. And the inside of a person is an average of all the choices they make. Is that what we kind of would say? He's on the other side of the mic right now, but would you agree with that?
I would agree.
Yeah, I think that's why our perspectives are different. I'll repeat it one more time. I think that the choices you make are instantaneously what kind of person you are, and you can constantly change throughout your entire life. You can start amazing. Let's say it's a scale of 0 to 100. You could be 90 till you hit high school, and you're a solid 65% of a good person, and then you start falling off the rails. You're 45. You're kind of a sleazebag, and then you mature the fuck up. You get your shit together in your family, and now you're 95, almost 100 for the rest of your life or whatever. And then you think you have a solid number. Let's say at heart you're a 72, and sometimes you're really good, and sometimes you're 80, and you go through a bad spot and you acted on 45, but the bottom of your heart is still 72. I think that's why our perspectives, when we put it on the table, disagree, because I think.
My remote control.
Mom, we're doing something, Mom.
Where's the remote control for my garage?
Mom, why are you? I know, but we're in the middle of doing something. Why are you interrupting?
I need it.
Okay, I have
sure
it. Why are you interrupting? This is the second time. We're in the middle of something.
I know. You can delete it.
That's rude.
I say sorry.
I know, but we're in the middle of something. We're going for an hour, and this is the second time you've done it.
We're talking about we'll cut to the phone.
We'll cut it. But
okay.
Your phone's out of storage. You don't have iCloud storage?
I don't know.
So.
Okay. So here's what we'll get to is.
What were you talking about?
Yeah, no. I think that was a good that we put everything on the table because we we agree, I think, on how the environment affects people, but I think we disagreed on our perspective of what makes a person good or bad. And I think now that we
That's
realize
true.
that, that's why you should have these talks with your best friends, your significant others. If you talk to someone you disagree on something, I and me and you know
Political
my
debate.
girlfriend in this.
We'll
You,
debate
you
why communism is bad because Levi's a communist.
no,
I'm just kidding.
he's being dumb. But everything comes down to sometimes one small thing. You could agree on so many things, and it comes down to one reason. Once you find that, you can really come at peace with things. But
That's true.
looping back around to instant gratification, money, fast money isn't always the best money. People get lucky breaks, the lottery. Think about it. Yeah, person who wins it got lucked out at the expense of other people's risks. In order for one person to win, and that's what we tunnel vision onto. Yeah, but he only spent $20 on lotto tickets and he won, uh, you know, 753 million, whatever. But at the expense of like tens of thousands and hundreds. I don't know how many people put into a lottery, but many people's losses is what made that one person's success. There's always a give and take, and I'm not trying to go back to yin yang,
It's
but like
everything in
everything's a
life.
balance.
That's everything.
Yeah,
Not
and
just lottery.
yeah. So fast money's bad. We talked about relationships.
Fast sex is bad.
Fast what?
Fast sex is bad.
Fast sex. It depends
Fast
on what
sex
you
is
want.
bad.
If all you care about is one thing and one thing only, it's not bad. But like fast, at least I think when it comes to really gratifying relationships are built over time. Will we say that? And then I think when it comes to then we had a digression when it comes to people and what makes a person good or bad. And then honestly, that comes down to the huge psychological question of nature versus nurture. And then so when you start to make decisions in your life, oh, this is actually a good thing. We produce music, and the producer gave us two options of payment. We either pay $400 with a 15% sales dividend that goes to the producer. Whatever we make, if we make $100 on a song, just for easy math, they get 15 bucks. If we make 100,000, they get 15,000. But upfront, we pay $400, or we pay a higher amount. I think it was 600 or something like close without any dividends. And that's actually a statistic. If you have to put on a line graph, where it starts and where it kind of flows. If you don't have the money now, you can only afford 400. Yeah, but you have to pay 50%. So anyone who is stuck in instant gratification would be 400, dude. It's less, and then whatever happens after. They don't realize that if you're trying to make a career as a band, all the money that you could have made from that song is now being funneled away. If you look later in life, it's that same with buying a house. I don't want to go too long on this part, but buying a house is huge, and you have to pick a 10-year mortgage, a 15-year mortgage, or a 30-year mortgage, and how much you put down affects your monthly payments, and it's a constant try balance. I talk about this for hours, but I'll keep it short. Let's say you have $25,000. Keep it simple, and the house is $100,000. Would that be easy math? And I could put down 25% technically. I would have less to put down. I would have less to put down on appliances and gifts and stuff like that because I'd be paycheck to paycheck with what I pay for afterwards. But the monthly payments would be down more because you put more down on the house. Therefore, your monthly net is more money because you pay less for the house because you put more down. Let's say you only put 15% down. You put $15,000. Now you have an extra $10,000 cushion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you pay more monthly for the house. Now, even those two aside, you could put 25,000 down in two situations. It's a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage. You pay it over a long time, but you're paying more interest, but you have lower payments. You can enjoy your life more. But now, did you know like a $200,000 house, if you do the math, I think somebody said over a 30-year mortgage costs $496,000, something like that.
Yeah,
You're paying so much in interest. Or you can do a 15-year mortgage. You pay more monthly and you pay more down. However, one, when you sell the house before it's paid off, you get more back because you actually paid more principal. Two, if you live below your means and try and stick with that that hardship of getting less money per month because you not only put a lot down, but you're paying more per month, rather 15-year than a 30-year.
I don't think anyone
You
should buy a house unless they're ready to buy a house.
exactly 100%. But I think you once the house is sold and that you're 15, just so much better. You pay less for the house and you get all that money back from your paychecks that actually start hitting you without going out for mortgage sooner. That's literally just the balance you pay. Some people, like my parents, they could not afford a 15 or 10-year mortgage. They did a 30-year because the only thing they could afford at the time. And maybe they were ready, maybe they weren't ready, like Matt said. But when it came down to it, they made more money. They really braced themselves, lived below their means, and then they refinanced. And now they went to like a 10-year and then lowered the interest rate and things like that. And just like that buying a house thing, it's those pros and cons and balances you have to pick. Instant gratification, you know you're going to pay for it later on. Whether it's relationships, fights with your significant other, you're going to pay for it somehow. And if you put in that hard work and not what's easy, what's right, and what you believe is good and you have knowledge about is good.
Yeah, but you have to be smart about what work you're putting into.
Yeah, and what is good and what is easy.
It's hard to find exactly what is good in a sense. You can have an idea, but make sure. Well, I guess what you're saying. You gotta be smart with the hard work. Don't just work hard for nothing. It's pointless.
Yeah, and the work smarter, work harder. Work smarter, not harder. You have to know: are you being lazy, or are you being efficient? There's a difference between
work efficient. Yeah,
be efficient. If you're going out to get groceries, you got to get gas, you got to pick other stuff. You don't want to go, but you're already out. You're saving time and money and gas or you're taking a little bit more time out of your day, but you're saving money and gas by getting your other things over with. You only made one trip, and same thing with dude. We could talk for hours on this. Shopping for groceries. You know how you have like what was I buying the other day? Minced garlic. Okay, so it was like $2.99 for this much, and $3.95 for this much or something like that. Or was it $2.65 and $3.99? You're like, okay, for a little over $1 more, you can get 3 times as much. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to speak to yourself: is the dollar worth it? Dollar and change, and also, am I going to use all this? Yeah, so if you know you for a fact, and it wasn't minced garlic because I'm going to use that garlic. If it was something like if it went to $2,000 or $3,600, and it's something is just a cooler color. Like I remember I was buying a guitar case and the beige one was $30 and the black one was like $60. I was like, no, I can live with the beige one. Or is black your favorite color and it's the best thing you've ever bought? Is it worth $30 to you? You have to make that.
The only time I'll buy something in terms of looks is if it's going to look better in terms of visually appealing for an audience. That's
exactly. And that's what matters to him. Some people, I'll say, for me, I don't care about cars. A lot of you disagree with me. There's people that just
have a car.
Your family. He drives a car, but it's like a family car. But
I don't even use it.
Yeah. He runs everywhere.
Yeah, runs everywhere.
No, and when it comes to I have a 2020 Toyota Corolla. And I love that thing. It's got all the bells and whistles.
Yeah,
it doesn't look cool. I mean, actually, it kind of doesn't look that bad, but
it looks pretty bad. Nice.
But it gets me from point A to point B, and those things last forever. It's paid off, and I would drive that thing to the ground. I probably won't have a car payment, for the next. Well, I hope so. For the next 5 to 10 years, because those things they run into the ground. They're amazing. So. I think what was it talking about that I got into the car thing? Your priorities and what you want to put. Some people they really really want a Corvette. Like I know some people that want a Mustang or a Corvette. They're willing to spend that extra money for. To me, doesn't matter. To me, I can walk out no matter what I get into. It gets from point A to point B.
To me, it doesn't make any logical sense.
Yeah, and you crash at any time. Just like what was another thing that I was talking about?
I hate, but. And people are like, I have this car because it picks up chicks. I'm like, if you have to have a car to pick up chicks, you got a problem.
Well,
the cars ain't gonna solve.
Bro, it's like I said, one depends on your priority. If all you care about life is picking up chicks, that car might be your key to happiness. But think about dude.
I disagree. I think if you have to have a car to show a girl that you're worth her time, you have bigger problems in the car.
But at the same time, just to play devil's advocate, I 100% agree with you.
No, just-
But if you pull up in like a hot pink and gold Lamborghini, like hot pink Lamborghini with gold wheels, and you come out in a suit, I guarantee, just like you impress me. Like,
Yeah, of course.
You impress me. I was like,
But
what
if
does he
you're-
do?
If you're pulling up in that car and you're a weirdo stalker that likes to XYZ with somebody and be like a freak, you're probably going to turn most girls off. If you're 450 pounds and you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of other,
Yeah.
that was not probably cut that out. But there's a lot of different things that go into play in terms of, people think that this one thing is going to be the reason why I get this girl. It's a completion of your life, and to put money towards one thing that is a visually appealing thing is a waste, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Unless you're like really into cars and you make money off trading, doing things with cars.
Well,
and detailing
it's a
things.
waste if it's a large enough amount of money for you to be considered waste. Let's say smaller scale.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let's say it's two cars that are the same.
Well, I'm talking about somebody who's like having trouble paying off their car because they love their car.
Oh yeah, that comes all the way back down to priorities. That's just like priorities again. But like when it comes to like a guitar, they both exactly cost, let's say $850. One looks like this, and they both sound good. You're gonna pick what costs. But let's say one costs $50 more. One's $850, one's $900. And one looks sick, and the $850 one doesn't look that great. It's a balance. Is $50 worth it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
But then there's like
putting yourself
thousands.
into credit
There's
card debt for a
yeah,
car.
yeah.
That's a
Look,
different thing.
exactly. That's priorities.
Or
Yeah, and some people, to their priorities, they don't care. They could be in debt for the rest of their life, and they'll get bankrupt. I don't care if I get bankrupt.
They really not care though, because they're the ones that complain about it. I mean, it's just the truth.
It comes to each. I don't know. I'm not in that situation, so I can't speak on it. But some people I know, they can be in debt and they don't care as long as they have that car.
It's like the law. The people at the gym. We'll close out with this too. The people at the gym like, dude, I never can get in shape. How many meals have you had today? I had trail mix in the morning, and I had let's see, that's about it. Well, it's 4 p.m. What did you do yesterday? When I went out drinking, bro. I literally can't do anything. I do cardio every day, bro, and I can't lose weight. It's the same people that complain that, and that's instant gratification, bro. Buying yourself a nice car when you're 20 years old is instant gratification.
Yeah, because you want it probably for the wrong reasons,
Exactly.
or you might want it for the same reasons when you're 65, but there's a higher chance that you've been working for it, and it's a more safer decision. Because let's all be frank. I know it's a stigma that only old people have money, but the older you are, most likely, there's a higher chance of you have saving money over that time, and it's probably a smarter financial decision to have a nice car when you're older than it is to start out. I think, and this is just advice as a non sequitur digression from it. If you're buying your first car, make sure it's used, and make sure it's affordable. And if you can pay it off as fast as you can, pay it off. It's just like a house on a smaller scale. Interest gets you. At the end of the day, it's what you prioritize. But if you prioritize, having more money to put into other things in life, you get a used car, and don't make it, too luxurious, because you're paying for a lot of stuff that you probably won't care about a year after having the car.
For sure.
But yeah, and keep away from instant gratification. We'll close out soon. Would you agree?
Yeah,
That's probably the end of it. That was a good, yeah. And when you make your choices in life, no matter what they are, either put your mental Venn diagram of pros and cons up and say, is this instantly gratifying? Am I doing this for the wrong reasons? Or is this something good that I'm creating over time? And a lot of things are good to enjoy instantly in the moment. Think about a nice dinner. It might not cost that much, but sometimes that memory can't be taken away from you. And so definitely evaluate in your own lives your choices.
I mean, like, I don't want people to think that I'm also like the person that doesn't do anything for fun.
Yeah,
Like,
you are. You don't do anything fun.
I waste money all the time.
No, I'm
Not
just kidding,
waste,
yeah.
but I spend money on things all the time. But
Today is actually January 7th, 2023.
Yeah.
And, no, I'm just kidding. And tonight we're going to party. No, I'm just kidding.
But, anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We hope you guys got something out of it. We had a lot of digression today. Probably one of our longer podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun, though. A lot of good conversation. Gonna definitely be an interesting one to watch. I hope you guys enjoy the video.
Yep. And when you have friends, if you guys sit down and eat, just converse with them. Have a buff talk.
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
Put them horns on and have a buff time.
Yeah.
Hope
All
you guys
right.
are having a great day, and I hope you guys are enjoying the brand new year. And take care.
Have a good one.
Hey guys, thank you guys for checking out this video. We're so grateful to have you here on our YouTube channel. So make sure to check out all of our other videos ranging from a variety of different type of podcasts to our Buffalo barbecues. Check out our YouTube channel for constant updates on all the stuff that we have going on. You can also follow us on social media like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So check us out there. Water Buffalo Training Method. We're out.
2023. Nice. All right, go team. Let's go party. Nah, I got